Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Blind Beat. It's AZ, and this show is going to be all about retinitis pigmentosa. In this episode, we interview Atreyu Dunson, a recent Lighthouse Scholarship winner. He was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa at the age of 1.5, but the vision change did not come about until later on in life. So we get to hear what kinds of things he participated in, how he was able to complete his tasks at school, and we also cover when the transition came about, when the vision changed, and what occurred in his life in order to help him make that decision to go and get help. When I first met Atreyu, he came in for JAWS training and also for the Braille classes. He is a recording artist, which you'll be able to find out more about in this interview, and he also is a student in college. Here's the interview with Atreyu Dunson. Alright guys, welcome to another Blind Beat, and on the phone here with me is Atreyu Dunson. He's going to talk to us a little bit about his eye condition and how he went about dealing with that throughout his life. How's it going, Atreyu? How you doing today?
Man, I am doing great. I'm doing awesome, trying to stay safe and sanitized through this crazy time. How are you doing, Mr. Jose?
I'm doing good, man. Trying to see when we see the, as they say, the light at the end of the tunnel with this pandemic that's going on. Thanks for joining us here on The Blind Beat. Why don't you tell us about your eye condition?
100%. I want to start with saying thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, man. Yes, my name is Atreyu Dunson. I was diagnosed with a retinitis pigmentosa when I was like 18 months. But I only showed like symptoms. It wasn't until much later to where my eye condition started to get worse.
Okay, so retinitis pigmentosa, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
I was diagnosed when I was 2, so it's about that around the same time. So with that, you do start out with some vision. When did you start noticing that your vision was affecting your day-to-day?
So I tell people that I never really had because back in the day I had I was able to kind of correct my vision with glasses and stuff like that.
Okay.
But my glasses were really thick and stuff like that. And I always had to put the piece of, when I read, I'd have to put the paper real close to my eyes and stuff. But I was able to read, and I was able to do a whole bunch of things read the board, use print until about the age of, I say 17 is where I start realizing, oh, wow. And then by 21, I started to realize I needed to start using a cane.
How old are you now?
I'm 27 now. 27.
Okay, so it's been about 10 years of that process really hitting on. That's the thing with retinitis pigmentosa. It affects people at different times. It depends on the situation, on the individual as to when it happens. So you were able to read regular print size throughout your schooling?
Well, when I was a kid, I didn't necessarily read regular print size. If I did, I really had to strain my eyes.
Okay.
When I was in public school, they gave me large print and different things that kind of helped me out.
So as you're going through school, you had your corrected glasses, and that's all you needed, large print? You didn't get introduced to a CCTV or Braille or anything like that at that time, right?
See, well, I did actually have certain gadgets. I actually kind of felt like Batman as a kid because they sent me with some really cool stuff. I had a telescope that I could kind of see the board from far away. Kind of had the same lenses that was put into my eyeglasses, so I was able to see further with this telescope. And also had audio stuff. They would bring in audio books for me. That was back on when we had them on tape and stuff like that as well. So they would help me with things like that. On sheets of paper, it's usually blue lines that you would write in between the margins and stuff like that. And then mine were set in black. So I was able to see exactly where I was writing at and things like that. So they gave me some things, but no, it wasn't nothing with the CCTV or I didn't start to learn Braille till much, much later.
With the you called it a telescope?
Mm-hmm.
Did you use that to see the board on when you were trying to take notes? Or
I did.
And did you use that at all with travel?
No, because at that point in time I was about 12 years old, and I I didn't need a cane at that point in time.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't use it with my travel, and a lot of times, I was with a parent or somebody else.
How was going to school? Did you do any sports or what did you do for fun at school?
School was awesome. I never got into like any like sports like that as a kid. I was like really into skateboarding, and I was always a pretty bright kid as far as like academically. But
Cool.
around the time of like 13, which was like junior high, my brother was murdered. So we were like
Oh,
pulled out of school. So I actually had to go back. I never actually went to an official high school. I had to go. Once I went blind and I went to Chris Cole, I had to go back for my high school diploma. That's why I'm in college now and stuff like that.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, no, that's all good, bro.
So is that your older brother?
Actually,
Younger
yes,
brother?
it's my older brother. His name is Tommy Glenn Dunson, and he actually suffered from RP as well.
So it was just you and your brother who had that you
I
know of so far?
it was me, my brother, and I have an older cousin. His name is Edwin. He works at the lighthouse as well.
Oh, yes.
So all three of us have it.
What was it that made you feel around the age of 17 like, hey, something is different? Did something happen or did you just
100%.
notice it?
100%. So, really, like I said, I was really into skateboarding back in the day. So, like, I really had blood, sweat, and tears in it. And it got to a point to where the better I got, I was able to do a whole bunch of things, but the obstacles I was hitting was getting more difficult for me to do, just for me to see. I used to, like, if I was going down a huge staircase, I used to have my friends stand by the staircase so I can know where to launch at. Or, like, a lot of times where my friends would leave at night to go skateboard and I had to kind of chill back because I couldn't see in the dark. So it was just different things, or I'd try to play video games and I'd see like I wasn't able to play certain games anymore. Trying to pour juice or something, I'd start spilling stuff. It was just a gradual thing where my everyday living was starting to change.
The skateboarding. I hope you didn't get like hurt like really bad doing that.
No, I mean, it comes with the trade of the game. I hurt myself every now and again, but it wasn't. Even
But no
now,
severe
it blows
thing.
people away because I still have all my tricks and I'm really good. And they're like, man, you're
Wow.
blind. But I'm like, man, it's just a feeling now. Like, now it's just kind of second nature for me. So it's pretty cool.
You just have that ability, that feel for it. I think that's not only visual, that's all you gotta feel that stuff. But so these things are happening. You're beginning to notice that the fact that you can't see the video games, the fact that it's getting more difficult to do the tricks with the skateboard or the obstacles. What was the next step after that?
So, like, honestly, the next step was the hardest step, really, was just mentally accepting that I was blind, right? Because out of my friends, and even today, I have a bunch of friends that I hang out with, and I'm your blind friend, For a while, it was like I tried to, just be like them, They are playing video games. I wanted to play games like them, and they were skateboarding. I wanted to skate like them. I just felt like all these different things that I did made up my personality, and losing them took away from myself, and I kind of, had a identity crisis for a second,
Right.
And it took me a while to kind of realize that the only thing I can't do is see. And I kind of realized that once I went to Chris Cole.
Was there something that motivated you to go to Chris Cole? Did somebody suggest it or somebody had gone before? How did you find out about Chris Cole and what was the motivating factor to go?
The motivating factor, my brother Trey, like I said, he also had RP and he went to Chris Cole.
Oh,
and,
okay.
He learned.
So you knew about it, okay?
He did, and he knew how to like iron and cook for himself, and he built like this wooden case for my mom, and he was really independent. That's what gave me the idea once I got older. When I was a kid, and he was 10 years older than me, so like
right.
His eyesight was a world of difference from mine when I was younger.
Right.
So he actually needed to go, and I wasn't prepared. I didn't think I needed to go at that point in time. But then once I actually went, I mean, it was a breath of fresh air.
So going to Chris Cole, you kind of knew that it's an option for me, and you just had to come to terms where it's like I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna do it. Just go through this process of the identity crisis, and then saying like you knew that Chris Cole was there, and so you could go there, right? I mean,
Right. I had a breaking moment when uh, I think it was in 2013. I was trying to get my GED, and I went through these classes for about a year, the year prior, and I got myself prepared. And that year, I was supposed to test. I needed to, get my accommodations and stuff like that. And I went to get everything accommodated on June 26th. And by the time that I got everything accommodated, the process of the GD, they have to send it to Austin. Austin sends it to Washington. They deal with everybody in America. They get to your case, they send it back to Austin, and so on and so on. So by
right.
the time it got back to me, it was December 8th, 2013. And I placed it in June. So my eyesight,
What?
yeah,
Wow.
my eyesight changed dramatically. So instead of needing audio and stuff like that, at this point in time, I needed a scribe. I needed somebody who could actually see the paper and stuff like that. So I failed the GED test because I couldn't see it. Long story short. So then I wanted to go get my GED or my high school diploma, and the best way I could think of was to go to Chris Cole so I can learn, the proper help to go about that.
Right. And you said you went to Chris Cole when you were 21, right?
Right.
Okay. And how was it there, man? Chris Cole, for some people, it's a daunting decision to make. You're gonna have to go out there, and you're gonna have to live out there. Every day is just you go from one thing to another. You can go from travel to braille to technology, and that's all in a day. So it could be a big decision for people. How was it for you?
It was perfect for me because the type of personality I have is just kind of I have a I like production. I like to just move and know that my life is that I'm moving forward. So like once I arrived at Chris Cole, and they told me they're gonna teach me how to use mobility training. They're gonna teach me how to use technology and teach me braille and stuff like that. The only thing I was really chasing was independence, and until this day, I'm still chasing how to be more independent. So like it was a great experience for me because I have witnessed people who went to Chris Cole and they weren't ready for the treatment, and
Right.
I think me mentally accepting that I was blind, I was able to take the advice.
Right. So you had that mindset. You had the correct mindset to go in there and take all the knowledge that was given out to you, and you take it to apply it to you, apply it to your situation, right?
Right. Actually, it's crazy because I'm so much more happier as a blind person than I could ever remember being sighted, which is weird because I like going to Chris Cole and learning things. I've done things as a blind person that I've never done as a sighted person, and I totally attribute that to Chris Cole and the people in my corner like Miss Nancy and even you and stuff like that, who's really just pushed me into the right path to do things like that. So uh, I think it's very important for each person to really, and it doesn't even have to be on you're being blind. I just think it's very important for everybody to realize that you're perfectly imperfect, like
Yeah,
you got to accept you. And if you're blind, then that's just a part of your story, and you should be happy about that.
exactly. I agree with that. So, what are some of the things that you've tried?
Oh man, okay. So like I said, I play the piano now. My mom's been trying to get me for years to play the piano, and I play the piano now. I also do martial arts. I take taekwondo. I'm 2 belts away from my black belt. You know, I'm in college. I got on the president's list 5 times in a row. You know, once on the dean's list. Even really just as far as my personality, I don't really care for the glamour and the glitz. You know, I just care about just things with value and just I don't know. I'm so happy about the mind state that blindness is actually putting me in.
So you just care about the the growth, how things help you just get better as a person.
100%. You know, like I read books a lot, and the saying's real. You can't really judge a book off its cover. So, and being
Yeah.
blind, you're almost forced to really get to know somebody, talk to that person, and see what's underneath.
Right. So you say in Taekwondo, playing the piano, going to college. What do you like to do for fun?
Oh man, I do a lot of things. Like I said, I have a lot of friends, so I go out and I hang out with my friends. Sometimes my friend Rigo, he has a skate park in his warehouse in his backyard, so we'll go out and we'll skate there. I have a lovely girlfriend that loves me that I hang out with, you know, on my free time and stuff like that. And of course, I love jumping in the studio and just making music all day, every day if I had to. That'd be tight.
So I know that you are really into music. When did you want to be involved in music? When did that come about in your life?
I said about 17. My brothers was always doing music and just recording, making beats, and once my eyesight started to kind of diminish and I wasn't able to skateboard as well as I would like to, I got into music because I felt limitless. I felt like, you know, even with my disadvantage, I couldn't be limited here. So I got into rap music, and then we started performing a bunch, and we started making beats, and then we started playing instruments, and it just continues to grow.
What's your band name?
It's called Black Theory, BlackTheory, and then Black Three Theory is our social media names. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that.
That was awesome to see you guys perform at last year's White Cane Day. That was really cool
Thank you, man.
to
Thank you.
especially it's hear you rap, man. And I've heard the albums on Spotify. And by the way, your name is Nova. I don't
Yep.
know why.
Yep.
So I definitely like the flow. It's some good stuff. So you've been doing that for about 10 years, doing rap, or doing your music for about 10 years, and you planning to continue that?
Absolutely. You know, we're actually about to put out a project pretty soon. Can't really give too much details on it, but it's something that we're really happy about. Yeah, man, sky's the limit.
That's awesome.
I I,
Th-
I want to do music forever, even if I didn't blow up. I'm setting myself up to be work at a church or help somebody out vocally or do something even with the college degree I'm gonna get. So I just really passionate about music and stuff like that.
So going back to Chris Cole, and I know you went in there with the right mindset, and you were familiar with what was gonna happen as far as to the classes and the level of information because your brother had gone through it too. But what was for you? What was the most challenging thing?
The most challenging was probably I say it was Braille. I hate to say it too, but like when I was in Chris Cole, I I took my Braille classes like it was a normal class, and I paid attention, but I probably should have really dialed down on this because I think it's very important for us to be literate and actually know how to read and do things like that. And me not holding on to those skills as much as I possibly could, I really should have dialed down on that. And that's why I appreciate coming to the Lighthouse and these resources that we have that I can really just sharpen on my skills. But Braille was definitely the most challenging for me.
Yeah, Braille's one of those where you have to use it. You have to apply it every day and everyday things. If not, it doesn't stay with you, unfortunately.
Right.
And but I agree with you. It's a very important tool to have to be able to use Braille. So it was Braille, so JAWS and using your cane, all of that came easily to you.
Yeah, I mean, Jaws was a little bit confusing at first, but I was really excited to learn how to use it because, I mean, in our generation, you can't really do much without the computer. So, like, it was really nice to really know how to use JAWS, and I use it academically every day. So, I mean,
That's pretty valuable too. Then if you got to get your work done. And so people who are listening who don't know what JAWS is, it's a screen reader that gets installed on a Windows computer. And using keyboard commands, you're able to control the computer. You're able to, check your email, read Word documents, create Word documents, and all of that. So what would be your advice to somebody who's trying to take that first step, who's trying to get to the acceptance of blindness? What would you tell them to help them take that next step?
I just tell them, and I know you can't believe it until you take that first step, but the only thing that you really can't do is see. And you got to keep that in mind. Once you go into these Chris Coyles or anybody, once you just make that first step, you start to realize I'm just like everybody else, I still got to cook, I still got to clean, I still got to go to work, I still got to do everything. And you're able to with the proper skills that can be taught to you, and you shouldn't feel limited. And if anything, now you should feel special because you're different from everybody else.
That's great advice. Well, I definitely want to thank you for coming on The Blind Beat. I appreciate you, man. And I'm excited to see where you're going to go next, man. Every time I talk to you, I'm impressed with what you're doing. And I'm definitely excited to see the music project and just to see where you're at, man.
Right on, Mr. Jose. And I'd love to, maybe if you're free this summer or maybe when everything slows down with this whole pandemic, I'd like to have you a part of it. Maybe come over here and do some scratching for me, or I'd love it, man.
And you got it, man. We'll have to do something, right?
All right, cool, man. I got you on film saying that.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for being on The Blind Beat, man, and take it easy.
Yes, man. Hope to be back.
That was Atreyu Dunson. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. A little FYI, the San Antonio Lighthouse has launched an assistive technology helpline. If you have any questions about assistive technology, go ahead and call 1-833-582-3271. That's 1-833-582-3271. Remember to follow The Blind Beat on Twitter at The Blind Beat. We have come to the end of the show. My name is AZ. I hope you join me next time for more stories.